So thank you very much for this very awesome concert. So
Thank
I
you.
hope everybody understood what they hear actually, because that's a mix of a chipset, music chipset from the 80s that you've been packed all together with a music software. Is it?
Yeah.
Is it the good way to explain? That's what we see actually on the screen now. So
Yeah, that's the hardware. Yeah.
Yeah, what we see on the screen is the hardware that we use, along with the software that we wrote.
Awesome. How long does it take to you to build that and to have the result we heard today?
5 years.
5
Oh
fucking
my
years.
5 years, two
Yeah.
people, and yeah, because there is a lot of work involved in all the steps to get to that, but we are satisfied of the results, so it's cool to
You
show
can,
it for the first time on the Shadow.
yeah, you can tell yourself that everything that could fail did fail. So it took a lot of time, but really there are so many steps before coming to these results that it took us a long time. I mean, it was full time for our spare time, full time basically.
So can you give us some figures? For example, how many machines do you cover? What's the most difficult machines you have to work with, or?
Okay, I can answer that. So we cover any machine that uses an AY8910 or DYM 2149F, which is the Spectrum, the Amstrad CPC, the Vectrex, the Auric, and of
Atari
course the
ST.
Atari ST, of course, because we started with this. So this is for this kind of chip. Then we also cover the SID, so any C64 generation, the first or the second, the 6581 or the 8580. We also cover the Sound Blasters, so we play OPL2 and OPL3, Sound Blaster and Sound Blaster 16, and the Game Boy, of course.
And there is also the Amiga, but yeah, we are using a Mist because we don't have a MIDI interface for the Amiga, and it was more convenient, but there was an Amiga running on an FPGA. So
yeah, the most faithful incarnation of the Amiga today is by using a FPGA, and we've been evaluating the MIST since 2013, and we've been evaluating the sampler of the Amiga since 2015.
Okay.
and there was also a YM2151. That's the chip in the arcade games, like the music of Street Fighter 2 is made with this chip, and it's quite close to the chip of the Mega Drive, so we can also play Mega Drive tunes on this chip.
Yeah, by doing some adaptations with the real-time drivers.
And that's French. That's French. Yeah.
French Tech 100%.
That's awesome. So, is there any future machine you want to cover in your hardware?
Yeah, the NES would be great, but the inconvenient with the NES is that the chip is soldered and the sound chip is inside the main CPU. So either we can unsolder it, or we can play on a real NES, but we have to find a way to input all the data to the NES. So it's a difficult one.
The real problem with the NES is the same than with the Game Boy. Addressing the sound chip is impossible. You have to talk to the CPU because one is intertwined with the other. And for the Game Boy, that's Eric's part. He wrote the software, and this software allows to control the audio chip from the CPU. It did it everything in assembly. But
and
we
it's
don't
using
know.
the link port, so you can
Yeah.
you can play Tetris or you can send sound data to the Game Boy.
if there were a link port on the a fast link port on the NES, we would already be doing NES. But for the moment, we don't find an interface to talk to the NES as fast as we could.
Okay. So Callisto, do you have any questions, for example?
On Twitch?
On Twitch, you can explain the architecture, please?
Oh, that's fairly simple. We basically we convert the musics from different formats to a specific one that is unified. Then we feed that into a real-time player that addresses
on a PC.
on a PC. Yes, the real-time player addresses the appropriate hardware with the appropriate file format, and then we have this wonderful backend front end that Eric did, which is the interface that you saw, where we can see the decks and the music's playing, and voila, this is how everything is layered. It's really layer by layer. I did most of the backend, and Eric did all of the front end.
And we have a kind of a DJ interface, so we can play the songs, jump into some parts of the song, change the speed, and do some mute and solo on some voices. So we have everything ready to play live.
What you saw here, you didn't see us touching the chips because everything was automated real time with a script language that we developed. When we perform this live, we will have the possibility to stop the automation, take over the control, do our things, do our live tricks, and then continue to the next song, and so on and so forth.
Okay.
So, if I correctly understand, the ACE, Advanced Chiptune Engine, is with the hardware, what you see before, and the software, front-end and back-end with script, etc., automation. All of this is ACE, and the possibility is unlimited.
And also there is also another part is the software for each chip we wrote also. It runs on Arduinos or Tinsy or microcontrollers that talk to the chip.
ESP32s.
Yeah.
That's the thing. It's really hardware and software all together. We didn't build all of our shields. What we call shields are the targets that you see. Most of them are available freely, but we had to redefine the software, and especially for the 2149. This one caused us a lot of trouble with specific songs, so we had to change the microcontroller to something more beefy and create a software that is a firmware that is really, really, really timing accurate.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah. You have another question, maybe?
Yes. Which one of your custom boards was the most complicated to produce and get working?
The 2149, definitely. The OPL2, the OPL3, the YM2151, those were the easiest. I mean, even though they have a lot of registers, they were easy to address. The 2149, the problem with this one is that the Atari ST, notably, speaks to it very, very, very quickly. Like it can produce 250K writes per second, right? It can write 250,000 writes per second. And this is why musics like Reality or other musics from other composers are so unique. You could hear yesterday Gwen playing music on YM2149.
Everything is because of Gwen.
Yeah, basically we opened the Pandora's box and we had to beef up our USB, beef up our protocol to follow up with the bitrate and the real timeness. So the 2149 for easy songs it was a breeze, but for hard songs it was a pain. It took us 2 years and a half to stabilize this one.
Okay.
So, do you have any plan to have a small hardware box to play with your software, or Any further development for your hardware, or
Yeah, we first have to consolidate our hardware setup because plugging everything with USB, with audio, etc. is a nightmare. There are cables everywhere. So if we have to perform live and we have less than 1 hour of setup, it's not possible. So we have to stabilize everything and um, have it make it more carryable because it's very hard to plug everything. That's one of the plans we have because yeah, we have to. If we don't have a lot of setup time, it will be difficult. So that's
Yeah,
one of our plans.
setting up this one, we basically did a similar setup regarding hardware. The software was far less advanced. At the end of the year 2020, basically it took us 3 hours to wire and test check everything. 3 hours. We are pretty sure that when we are on stage, we will only have half an hour or so. So we have to have a way to transport everything in a wallet that is robust and that can be deployed instantaneously. This is our next step.
And do you plan to make album with Ace?
For now, you could see that the music we played was not ours, except one cover. Because in fact, we wanted at first we wanted to play our own music on several chips, but we we had to listen a few musics already made to see what would be cool to play, and we discovered many great songs. So um, we cannot release an album with. We could release some kind of a DJ mix, but or we could also write some songs. But for now, we don't have a plan for an album of this kind right now.
We now have everything to do it, but we had to start with something, and the
Yeah.
best is to look at what existed. So that's what we did.
Okay, but the concert rocks.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Thank you. Basically, we already started to compose stuff for those platforms. We compose music for Mega Drive, for Genesis, for the American viewers. We compose stuff for C64 and for Game Boy, of course. So now that we have all the bricks to play all those musics all together, the next step for us is to produce musics, of course, but also those musics will be played on several chips simultaneously. So we will have songs that will be played by the 2149, by the Amiga, by the SID, by the OPL2, by the OPL3, all at once, all in a row. This will make the experience more rich, and this is basically something that I was dreaming of 20 years ago.
Okay.
awesome.
Great.
Do you have any plan to go abroad? And I've seen yesterday, for example, you had a great interaction with Guem in Great Britain. So do you have any plan to work with other artists and do some music somewhere?
We
We'd
would
like
like,
to. Yeah.
definitely, we would like. We basically let us give you more insights. We started doing live performances at the end of 2013, following the RGC convention. And basically, Sydney Ultraseed was there. Ultraseed was there. He saw what we started to do with Game Boys. We were really kiddies at this time on musical stage, and he gave us a few tricks. And he told us, if you want to play music, I can rank you up on the Eindbass Festival in January 2014. It was in Utrecht in the Netherlands, and he just like that, he pushed us directly without asking. So we were really scared and afraid because we didn't have experience of live. So we had to forge our experience really fast to do that. And when we were there, it was wonderful. I mean, we didn't sleep, and we enjoyed chiptune music all the night. And one thing is, now we have a family life, but there are some free time available, and we are really keen on doing this again, knowing that we have now all the tooling that we have.
Okay.
Nice. Any other questions here?
On Twitch, not.
But you have to contact Gwen. He is very, very kind.
Gwen.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Gwen.
we talked to him already because playing maximizer songs was really difficult, as Yves said. So and there was one song written by Guem himself that we really wanted to play. So we worked hard in order to play this particular song, and now we can play other songs too. But this was a really great step. So yeah.
Gwen didn't believe that we could play it. Basically, we showed him the performance we did with MO5, the Association for Digital Preservation, and he was like, "Okay, I didn't think a second that Flash of the Rum, it's the song, Flash of the Rum would cause so much fuss on your side. But congratulations." So this is his words.
Okay. Cool.
Nice, very nice. Any other question there? Or
On Twitch, not.
do you have still, from your point of view, some improvement to bring to your tools because of maybe some musics? Because maybe some music on certain chipset could have been specific. Let's say just like demos. We know that for emulator, some demos are very difficult to emulate. So is it still the case for you with some tracks or?
There are some. There's a bit of on Game Boy, for instance, because when using LSDJ, LSDJ takes 100% of the CPU because it's not done for demos. It has the whole processing power of the Game Boy for itself. So some songs are very difficult to achieve to play correctly. So maybe we have some improvement in this regard. And what else?
The DGs on the seed.
Yeah, because the frequency is really high. So the digit, it's a hard part too. Yeah.
For some chips where we don't have fast interfaces, we cannot play digits as the way we want. It doesn't work, and it means that we have to rework the board and do it ourselves to make it faster.
So do you mean maybe like a digi drum on Atari ST? It's difficult for you to play, or?
On Atari ST, no, we can.
We can.
Thanks to Guem, no, we can.
This is all Guem's fault, right? This guy, we hate him. Basically, actually, we do hate him. Basically, you could hear reality music from Big Alec previously. This one is a song that is played through maximizer, or at least it's a song with high register rate. Now we can do that, so any DG will work on the 2149. This one we kind of master it, but for the others, and specifically the seed, we don't have the fastest interface possible. One, and for two, the protocol that we developed is not completely made for high performance. Also, you might see that it's not a seed that we showed. It's a FPGA seed, so it's a reincarnation of the seed on the FPGA. The reason for that there are two reasons. The first reason is that the FPGA seed rocks. It's a very good incarnation of a seed with all the nonlinearities and specificities of the sound that the actual seed does. And two, all the seeds will die, and they already do. Basically, they heat up and they die in your hands. So the last thing we want is having chips that die on us when we are performing. So we reverted to the FPGA seed because it works and it sounds exactly like the original one.
Yeah, nice. Do you have any other question here on the Twitch?
No, not one.
Come on, guys, wake up! If you have questions for the other days, that's now. Come on, wake up!
I have just a marketing moment for the other days. You have to follow their website, and they have some tutorial for mixing with Game Boy. And they made some meeting in demo party to teach to kids or to people how to mix with some Game Boys they bring with them.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's true. We do workshops, and we bring the Game Boys. We explain how to compose music with LSDJ, and then we put the Game Boys in the hands of the people that are there, and they can compose their own music for 90 minutes, and then we hear what they did, and if they want, they can live with their music either in the LSDJ format or in MP3. The new things that we also do are master classes explaining how all those chips are working, because we develop a specific expertise on SSG, on FM, and on analog modulation for the SID particularly. So we want to spread the knowledge, and we want to make master classes with all the specificities we learned during those 5 years.
Nice.
You have to present a conference for the next shadow on that.
Yeah, why
With
not?
pleasure, completely, and with pleasure.
We have a question on Twitch asking if there is some of their software available.
Some of the software we use are available because some of them are open source. But for now, we didn't release. We fixed some bugs in some software when it happened to to impact us. And for instance, sometimes we shared some features in open source projects like the ability to dump LSDJ songs, to dump the registers of LSDJ songs into a raw register dump, because there was no software doing that until some point in the past. For now, our software is really complicated, and it's really tied on hardware, so we don't have any immediate plan to release everything, because it's really big. We have I don't remember how many sub-projects we have, because we use.
I think we have 12 repositories.
Yeah, we have. Yeah, it's a really hard part. We even have a specific Linux distribution to have everything packaged and stuff. So it's really not easy to set up. So, and for now it's too early.
Yeah, we can say that everything that you saw is still near the boilerplate. The positive thing here is that we contributed to opening software, because just to let you know, here you can see the mist, this box with white box here with the LEDs. It was running the Amiga core, and we are using a software that is called Medin32. This software was closed source when I looked at it for implementing the samples, and we discussed a lot with the developer, and he opened the source code because he didn't believe that we were still interested into make music on Amiga with his software, because he wrote this software 20 years ago. So at first,
more like that, more than that. I think it
more
was
than that,
92. Yeah,
yeah,
think.
and yeah, the first version was in 92, the latest was in 98, and he didn't at first. He thought that we were bullshitting him. Like, really, guys, you are really talking about my software? You're doing music with my software? And that was the case. And we had limitations because, really, in a nutshell, I had to reverse the protocol that this software used, so we can use it ourselves without having to without having to interact with the keyboard and stuff like that. it was really tedious, and those limitations gave us headaches. And at the end, we deduced that we had to talk to the developer if available. And the consequence of this is that this software is now open source.
Cool. Great. No more question.
So, is there any possibility that someday you do some kind of VST? So, if people want to play music with the whole panoply of chipset you're using, so they could maybe do a game or stuff like that, or
We have no plan to do this, but it's true that internally we use some some kind of emulators when we test everything, because we don't want to rewire everything every time. So it can be a possibility, but yeah, not a VST, but
Yeah, we are not working on Windows. Never. We are working everything in Linux. And yes, we could consider releasing some kind of expander, software expander that we are currently using when we want to test before going to hardware phase.
okay.
Okay.
Nice. Any question there on
No.
Twitch
No
or
question.
no? Okay. So if people on Twitch still have a question for the other days, that's the time. We give you another extra 30 seconds.
if you still have some
Sure.
question, we are on Facebook, we're on Twitter. Yeah, so that's theotherdays.net.
So you can pass the link on Twitch, I guess.
Yes.
You have it
I
yet?
may.
Okay.
Yeah, and normally for information, the other days perform on RGC or AEC. This is a small conversion at array connection, and the RGC is retro gaming connection. This is two retro gamer conversion in near Paris.
So I just
Okay.
have a last question for you guys.
Sure.
Because you said it takes a long time to wire everything when you perform.
Yep.
So what would be your expectation in about length if you have to do a demonstration somewhere? So do you expect a 2 hours concert or something, or how does it work?
It depends how many chips we we use.
More-
For this show, there were 7 different chips. There were 2 YM2149, but yeah, we have 6 kind of chips and 7 chips, and it took us, I don't know, 2 or 3 hours. But yeah,
basically, the
we'll,
more chips we need to show, the longer we need to prepare. But for 1 or 2 chips, I think we can straighten to 1 hour, no problem.
yeah, but yeah, and we'll improve this part in the future, as we said.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Definitely, we want to be able to deploy in 1 hour max, whatever the number of chips.
Okay.
Cool.
So that's great.
We have any question?
No question? Any question? Another question?
Another question.
So what is the question?
Are you on TikTok?
Guys, are you on TikTok?
No.
What is TikTok?
Oh no!
And we have another question who come on the with Astrofra. Where does the name bound come from?
Eric, I let you reply this one. It's a nice one.
Okay, because in fact we know each other since since I'm 4, I think, because our parents did know each other. So some time ago we as we wanted we liked computers, and we met I don't know, once a week sometimes
Every Thursday night.
every Thursday night to do some experiments with Atari ST, with PCs, with sound cards, with stuff.
Macintosh.
Yeah, way before the band started, and there was this was a kind of another day, another kind of day when we had fun and play with geeky stuff. So the name is come from here.
It was a play on words. Basically, we were kind of in our own bubble. We could geek. We could do whatever we wanted. We were really free. We got out at 1 or 2 a.m. knowing that we had to work on the Friday morning, but whatever, we were happy doing this. We were chilling, or we were coding, or we were hacking, soldering,
Or listening to
mixing.
music, playing
Mixing on
some,
mixing on the turntables, because Eric does that, and he explained me how to do it. So this, we call that the other days, because those were days that were different from the rest of the week. Those were the other days.
Nice.
So just, have you ever worked on any demos under a different handle in the past?
No, not really. We'd like to work with the demo scene, and we know some people in the scene, from the scene, and we composed some music for a game on Amstrad CPC, but never really for demos.
Yeah, we don't have you don't have any past handle so far. I can say that I contributed to the MIDI collections by tracking the music from Zelda on Game Boy, the Link's Awakening. So my contribution was there. It's still there. But other than that, what we are doing now, we made the music for a game that came out earlier this year. It's a puzzle game on Amstrad CPC. We also created another soundtrack for a game that didn't make it. So we don't have any demo handle, but we would be really happy to.
Noted.
It's not any question.
No more question.
No more question. Do you guys have any question for us? Because we've been asking a lot, so maybe you guys have question for us. Do you?
How do you not sleep?
Yeah,
do you
how
not
long
sleep?
did you sleep these
Not
last
much.
days?
It's this week on my fingers.
But we have to sleep the other days.
Yeah, right.
So guys, thank you very much for the concert, for all your answers. That's really great. We really love it.
Thank
So
you.
I hope we will get an occasion again with you to do something. And let's keep in touch. I guess we'll try to broadcast every links about your Facebook and everything, right? And
Thank you.
Thank
nice.
you.
very much.
Yes, I have another question. The last, maybe. How come you passed our music all the day today?
Secret.
Yeah. There
Well,
is a question that doesn't need any answers.
okay.
So I am the guy who have to switch on the console right now, so I have to move away. But
I have Coyote on Twitch.
Coyote is on Twitch.
Yes.
We
Coyote,
love you,
thanks.
Coyote. We
Thanks,
love
Coyote.
you. Thank you very much. Sorry,
Hi,
we
Coyote.
got Coyote. We couldn't see him during the last hours. So, well, okay, that's great to have you today, and thank you again. And let's keep enjoying the show. We will switch soon with Go to AT.
Yes.
Go
So,
to
do you
AT.
guys know about Go to AT?
Yeah, we know him.
Okay. So I think we are late, right?
Yes, a little.
10 minutes. 10
Okay.
minutes.
So I will.
See you guys.
Thank you so much for
Thank you for
inviting
hosting
us.
us. Yeah.
Bye bye.
Have fun.